Dear students of grade 8, welcome back to my English class once again. It's RK English YouTube channel. Today I am here once again with the new unit, that is unit number 14. So before we start unit, we have some pictures here and getting started here. So look at the picture and see what you would do in the given situation. So these are the some situation that is given in the picture. Students, you have to guess. So you have to identify the pictures. Okay. In the first picture, what do you see, students? As we can see a policeman and other maybe a thief, and the thief is running and the police is chasing. In the first picture, we can see that police is running, chasing, no, running after the thief. Of course, the policeman is chasing the thief. Similarly, second picture, we can see a doctor and a person who is lying on the bed, and doctor is checking the patient. He may be patient also. In the third picture, we can see a boy playing with the coins, some coins or note, I think. Yes, coins and notes. And here is a piggy type. This is a piggy, where we keep coins and money inside. And we all of us we must have piggy, at our home. And third picture, for last picture, there is a man. Old man is holding the hand of a girl, and what they are doing, they are, crossing the road. They are at zebra crossing. So these are the some pictures, students, and now move to the reading first. At reading first, look at the picture and guess answer to the given questions. Question A: what is the girl in the picture doing, and where do you think she is? So let's move the picture first, then we discuss. So this is the picture, students. Here we have a girl. He's gazing at the mirror. She might be inside a room. Yes. So she is gazing at the mirror. And now move to the text. So this is the text we have, student. The magic mirror is the title of this whole story, and this is a story about an unmarried king who was very, anxious about own marriage, and then he told the barber and the other so many people, in his village to look for the bride. So this is what we are going to study about the story of the king. So before we start the story, we have some pre-questions. Words meaning here I have written. One is worthy, deserving, constantly, continuously, reflection, throwing back, cunning. So all these are the words meaning that we will discuss in the text. So let's start the text. It was told throughout the kingdom of grandeur that the king was ready to marry. He would marry the most worthy girls of the land. First, the news was told to the court barber, and then to the night watchman, and then to all the old women who sold fruits and clothes at the market. The king also announced that he would give a good sum of money to anyone who found a suitable bride for him. So, in the first paragraph, students, it was told to everyone, throughout the kingdom, that the king was, and the king finally, he was ready to marry and he was looking for a bride. And this news was, spread throughout the kingdom. and he would marry the most worthy girls. Worthy means deserving girl. He was looking for a most deserving girl for as a bride, and the news was told to the court barber. The firstly, this news was told to the barber, court barber. Then the night watchman, then the watchman, night watchman, then all the women, all the old women who used to sell fruits and the clothes at the market. So all of them are were informed about this news that the king was you know going to marry. Yes, if the king was also announced, and the king had also announced a sum of price also for those who would find a suitable or deserving bride for him. So this is all about in the first paragraph that king was ready to marry, and he told this news to everyone, and secondly he announced the price also for those who would find a suitable bride for him. Second paragraph, we have the night watchman shouted the news in such a loud voice that all the young ladies were waking up hearing the exciting news. The old woman constantly reminded the young ladies that the king had decided to marry. The students, the night watchman, watchman, he shouted, okay, he shouted the news. He told this news in such a loud voice, okay, to everyone, and that all the young lady, when he starts shouting about the news of the king marriage, and all the young ladies were waking up. They wake up and they're hearing the exciting news. It was really exciting news about the king marriage. The old woman constantly reminded the young ladies that the king had decided to marry. And the old woman, they were kept on talking about the king marriage, and they were continuously telling the other young ladies about the king marriage. Everyone asked, how will the king choose a wife? The barber replied, I am afraid I will have great trouble finding a worthy lady for the king. So, meanwhile, the old woman, and other, young ladies, they were asking a question to a barber that how he would be managed to finding a deserving candidate, a deserving bride for the king. So this was a challenging question for a barber. So that was asked by everyone there. What you the questions? Yes, what you the questions? What have you got to do with helping the king find a wife? Yes, what are the things that you are going to help the king to find a wife? I am the only man closest to the king. And the barber said, and the barber replied that he was the only one man, closest man to the king. He was the closest person to the king. And I have a magic mirror. And he replied them, all of them, that he had a magical mirror. If anyone dishonest, if anyone had done anything wrong, yes, girls look up in mirror, spots of her dishonesty will appear in his reflection. So anyone had done anything wrong in her life, yes, and when he would look at the mirror, and her dishonesty would appear in the mirror. So this is what barber said to all of them about the magic mirror, and he told also them that he was the closest one and he can do everything for the king. And is looking in your mirror one of the condition to marry the king? Asked all, and the other people and other lady, who were there, they asked the barber that, was looking, is looking as one of the condition. It was the only the condition that one has to look at the mirror. It was that only one condition. That's the only one condition, replied the cunning barber. So cunning barber, he was a very clever barber, and he told everyone that there is one condition, that if anyone wants to, get married with the king, to the king, and she would have to, she had to look at the mirror first, magical mirror that barber had. And what about age, they asked, and the ladies, young ladies, and other uh, old ladies over there, they asked the barber that what would be the age. And the lady about 20 years eligible, said the barber, and the barber replied, everyone who is 20 years above is eligible and deserving one. He can be a bride. She can be a bride of king. But each girl will have to gaze at the mirror with me by side. But first, before getting married, each girl had to, would have to look at the mirror. Uh, what was that mirror? That was a magic mirror. He said, although several ladies wanted to become the king, they never dared to gaze at the mirror. So before this girl, there were so many ladies, other ladies, who never who never tried to gaze at the mirror, though they wanted to be a queen, they wanted to be a queen, but they didn't dare to gaze at the mirror. And the barber replied to all of them. Days and weeks went by, and a days and weeks gone. The king was no closer to getting a wife, but the king did not find any ladies. Okay, so some ladies would try to convince their friend to go before the mirror, but no one brave enough to try. Some ladies, some of the closest ladies, they try to convince their friend, relative, and neighbors, yes, for to to go before the mirror, and but no one of anyone didn't dare to look at the mirror. So it was very challenging for the people, uh, in order to look for a bride. And the king was very anxious about own marriage, and he was hopeful that the people would find a deserving bride for him. But it was totally uh, there was no hope for bride right now. But finally, what happened? Every morning, the king would ask the barber if any young lady had come forward to look in the mirror, but answer was every morning. Every morning the king would ask the barber. Every morning, king used to ask barber, yes, if any lady had come over there to look for the mirror, and the answer was no. Okay, so answer was no, students. It means the barber even was not successful finding a bride. So this was a challenging job for him. Now move to the next page. Yes, from everywhere, there is no possibility of any bride, and yes, many watched the barber to see if other went inside, but none had been brave enough to test their fate. Yes, so many was the barber shop to see. Okay, so many of them, they used to watch the barber shop, that if other had gone inside, but none had been brave enough to, but none had, shows any bravery to test their fate. Oh, is there no maiden in this land who wants to be my bride? In other land, the king have no trouble finding a worthy young woman to marry. Why this is happening to me? The king asked the barber. And so king was very upset, and he was very anxious. He is in anxiety about his marriage, and he said to the barber, So why there is no unmarried maiden means this is a neutral unmarried. There is no unmarried woman, okay, in this land, and who wants to be my bride in other country. But on the other hand, other in other lands king, they had no trouble finding a young lady, so young woman. Why this is happening to me? Why this, why was this happen to me? And king was surprised, king surprised, and he was very disappointed about him that he would not able to find any bride. But the other kings lands, they were able to find the worthy woman for their, okay, to marry. But why this happened to me? So king was upset. Your majesty, replied the barber. Then barber replied, there is no chance. Barber replied, sir, there is no chance. There were no chance. There is a lonely shepherd. There is one chance, yes. And finally, Barber said to the king that there is only one chance. There is a lonely shepherd girl who lives her by far away on the mountain side. So he told the king that there was a lonely shepherd's girl, who lived by herself far away the mountain side. You know, it's a mountainside, a slopey side, inclination, and she may be brave enough to look in the magic mirror, but would you marry a girl of such low birth? Low birth means she's teenage, she's very young, and Barber, suggested the king that there was a girl who lived very far away on the mountainside, and she was very brave enough to look at the magic mirror, and but it's up to you whether you would marry marry such a low birth girl. Call her, answered the king. And the king finally said that call the girl, and let the shepherd girl look into the mirror after you have told her what may happen if she dares to look. Yes, and then let the girl, okay, look into the mirror after you have told her what may happen if she dares to look at the mirror, and let her look at the mirror after you said the king to the barber. And soon after, the barber brought the young woman to the court. And finally, the barber brought that girl to the court, to the palace. The whole kingdom filled the royal hall to see the girl, and there was many people, and then the hall was filled with the, many of the filled with the people, to see the girls, to see that girl. When the girl entered the hall, she left very shy. She felt very shy, when the girl entered the hall, and she was very shy, and she felt very shy and nervous, not nervous but shy. She was very pleased with her appearance and received her kindly. She was very happy with her, she was very pleased and a good looking she appearance, and received her kindly. And he reminded her that if she wanted to be his wife, she would have to gaze at the magic mirror. Yes, then she was told that if she would want to be a wife of king, and she would have to look at the mirror. He said, if you have done something wrong in your life, there will be dark spot on its surface. And she was told that if she had done anything wrong in her life, and when when she started looking at the mirror, and there would be some kind of a dark spot on the surface, and if there would be any kind of such spots, it means that the girl had done something wrong her life. So this was the condition, and before becoming a king queen, and she had to go through all these condition. No, sir, replied the young lady, everyone makes mistake and I'm not an exception. And the girl replied, yes, everyone makes mistake. Yes, there is no one who does not mistake, but there is everyone who makes mistake and I am not an exception. I am not different one and I can be wrong also. I can be wrong. I could be wrong. With all the respect, I have no great desire to become the queen. So I have no. She the girl said that she had no desire and to become the king, but I am not afraid to look into the magic mirror. But she told that she had she was not afraid to look into the mirror. She had no fear about looking at the mirror, and she was ready to look at the mirror, and she replied to the king. Saying this, she walked up to the mirror and gazed at it. Soon after, the old woman who were present surrounded her. Okay, having said all this, the girl now moved to the mirror and start start looking at. And soon after, very soon, all the women who were present and they all surrounded that young lady, young girl. Now, when they saw the magic mirror showed no stain on its surface. Yes, when girls, when that young girl looked at the mirror and there was no sign of any black spot on the surface of mirror. They snatched it from her, passing the mirror back and forth from one lady to another. And the lady who were present there, they took the mirror from that young girl and they passed that mirror, okay, back and forth from, okay, one lady to other. They shouted, and all the women who were present, they shouted, look, look, there is no magic in the mirror. They all shouted that this was not a magical mirror, it was a trick that was played on them. Okay, so all the ladies shouted at the hall. But the king said, "No, ladies." But the king replied, she said to the old ladies that you have only yourself to think. What he said to the lady, and the king said that all the lady they had to thank themselves. If you had been as a confident in yourself as this young lady, you might be have been the queen. So finally, students, the king replied, and king said to the ladies that if they were confident, okay, about themselves, like this young lady, and obviously they could have, could have been the king of the queen of the king. So with that, this is all about the story of the magic mirror. So, in this story, students, what we have study or what we have read about the story, that is the magic mirror of. Yes, it was not a magic mirror. Actually, it was a trick. So, in this story, there was a king who was unmarried and who was very anxious about own marriage, and for that um, he spread the news of the marriage everyone, and he told everyone to look for a bride. And meanwhile, a barber brought a young girl to the court, and finally the king managed to get a bride. So this is a short story about this mirror. So with that, students, I am going to end this video today. With that, thanks for watching me, and keep watching my video. Do subscribe, like, and share my channel. See you in the next video.